Good evening. Welcome to the Mind of STEM channel, where you get your daily dose of science, technology, engineering, and math. I'm your host, Leon Jones. Now, in this segment, I'm going to get right back into computers. Now, last week I talked about computer graphics technology. Now, this evening, I'm going to talk about a wonderful computer field. It's known as information technology, or IT. Now, not to be confused with informatics or digital technology, IT redirects here. Now, for other uses, of course, see the disambiguation, IT. Now, before we get into IT or information technology, we must define what information technology or IT is. So, information technology or IT is the use of computers to store, retrieve, transmit, and manipulate data or information. IT is typically used within the context of business operations as opposed to personal or entertainment technologies. IT is considered to be a subset of information and communication technology, or we say information and communications technology, or ICT. Now, an information technology system or an IT system is generally an information system, a communication system, or more specifically speaking, a computer system, including all hardware, software, and peripheral equipment operated by a small group or a limited group of users. Now, humans have been storing, retrieving, manipulating, and communicating information since the Sumerians in Mesopotamia developed writing in about 3000 BC. But the term information technology in its modern sense first appeared in 1958. And it was a 1958 article published in the Harvard Business Review. Authors Harold B. Leavitt and Thomas L. Whistler commented the new term or the new technology, IT. Now, the new technology does not yet have a single established name, so we shall call it information technology. Now, their definition consisted of three categories: techniques for processing, the application of statistical and mathematical methods to decision making, and the simulation of higher order thinking through computer programs. Now, the term is commonly used as a synonym for computer and computer networks, but it also encompasses other information distribution technologies such as television and telephones. Now, several products or services with an economy are associated with IT or information technology, including computer hardware, software, electronics, semiconductors, internet, telecom equipment, and e-commerce. Now, the term, like I said, it's synonymous with computer and computer networks. But based on storage and processing technologies, it is possible to distinguish four distinct phases of IT development: pre-mechanical, which was established between 3000 BC and 1450 AD; mechanical, which was established between 1450 and 1840; electromechanical, which was established between 1840 and 1940; and electronic, which was established from 1940 until present. Now, this commentary is going to focus on the current period, which is electronic, because a lot of items started with electronics. Now, as you know, devices have been used to aid computation for thousands of years, probably initially in the form of a tally stick. The Antikythera mechanism dating from about the beginning of the first century is generally considered to be the earliest known form of mechanical analog computers and the earliest known geared mechanism. Now, comparative or comparable geared devices did not emerge in Europe until the 16th century, and it was not until 1645 that the first mechanical computer capable of performing four basic arithmetical operations was developed. Now, electronic computers using either relays or valves began to appear in the early 1940s. The electromechanical Zeus Z3, completed in 1941, was the world's first programmable computer, and by modern standards, one of the first machines that could be considered a complete computing machine. Now, Colossus, developed during the Second World War to decrypt German messages, was the first electronic digital computer. Now, although it was programmable, it was not general purpose, being designed to perform only a single task. Now, it also lacked the ability to store in its program, or it lacked the ability to store its program in memory, because programming was carried out using plugs and switches to alter the internal wiring. Now, the first recognizably modern electronic digital storage system was the Manchester Baby, which ran its first program on June 21st, 1948. Now, the development of transistors in the late 1940s at Bell Laboratories allowed a new generation of computers to be designed with greatly reduced power consumption. The first commercially available stored program computer, the Ferrante Mark I, contained 4,050 valves and had a power consumption of 25 kilowatts. By comparison, the first transistorized computer, developed at the University of Manchester and operated by November 1953, consumed only 150 watts in its final version. Several breakthroughs in semiconductor technology included the IC, known as the integrated circuit, invented by Jack Kilby at Texas Instruments and Robert Noyce at Fairfield. Semiconductor in 1959, the metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor, known as MOSFET, invented by Mohammed Atalla and Dewan Kang at Bell Laboratories in 1959, and the microprocessor was invented by Ted Koff, Federico Fagan, Masayoshi Shima, and Stanley Mazur at Intel in 1971. Now, these important inventions led to the development of the PC that we use today, known as the personal computer. Again, these individuals utilized all their technology and they came up with the PC in the 1970s. The PC is what we use today. It's a personal computer. And the emergence of information and communications technology also followed. Now, when it comes to IT, you have to understand that there's EDS, electronic data processing. Now, early electronic computers such as Colossus made a punch page, or they used key punch cards, and for the most part, the Colossus made use of punch tape, which was a long strip of paper on which data was represented by a series of holes, a technology now obsolete. Now, electronic data storage, which is used in modern computers, dates from World War II, when a form of delay line memory was developed to remove the clutter of radar signals, the first practical application of which was the Mercury delay line. The first random access digital storage device was the Williams tube, based on a standard cathode ray tube, but the information stored in it and delay line memory was volatile in that it had to be continuously refreshed and thus was lost once power was removed. Now, the earliest form of non-volatile computer storage was the magnetic drum, invented in 1932, and it was used in the Ferrante Mark I, the world's first commercially available general-purpose electronic computer. Now, IBM introduced the first hard disk drive back in 1956 as a component of their 305 RAMAC computer system. Most digital data today is still stored magnetically on hard disk or optically on media disks such as CD-ROMs. Now, it was until 2002 most information was stored on analog device, but that year digital storage capacity exceeded analog for the first time, and as of 2007, almost 94% of the data stored worldwide was held digitally. 52% on hard disks, 28% on optical devices, and 11% on digital magnetic tape. Now, it has been estimated that the worldwide capacity to store information on electronic devices grew from less than 3 exabytes in 1986 to 295 exabytes in 2007, doubling roughly every 3 years. Now, when we deal with IT, we also deal with databases. Now, database management systems known as DMS emerged in the 1960s to address the problem in storing and retrieving large amounts of data accurately and quickly. Now, an early such systems was IBM's information management system known as IMS, which is still widely deployed more than 50 years later. Again, the IMS system was deployed more than 50 years later, and this was by IBM. IMS stores data for its hierarchy, but in the 1970s, Ted Codd proposed an alternate relational storage model based on set theory and predicate logic and the familiar concepts of tables, rows, and columns. In 1981, the first commercially available relational database management system, known as RDBMS, was released by Oracle. And now all DMS consist of components. They allow data they store to be accessed simultaneously by many users while maintaining its integrity. Because all databases are common in one point, that the structure of the delay they contain is defined and stored separately from the data itself in a database schema. Now, in recent years, the extensible markup language known as XML has become a popular format for data representation. Although XML data can be stored in normal file systems, it is commonly held in relational databases to take the advantage of their robust implementation, verified by years of both theoretical and practical effort. Now, as an evolution of the standard generalized markup language known as SGML, XML's text-based structure offers the advantage of being both machine and human readable. Now, there's also what we call data retrievable or data retrieval. Now, the relational database model introduced a programming language independent of structured query language known as SQL based on relational algebra. Now, the terms data and information are not synonymous, although anything stored that you put on a computer is data. But it becomes information when it is organized and presented meaningfully. Most of the world's data is unstructured and stored in a variety of different physical formats, even within a single organization. Now, data warehouses began to be developed in the 1980s to integrate these disparate stores. Now, they typically contain data extracted from various sources, including external sources such as the internet, organized in such a way to facilitate decision support systems known as DSS. Now, there's data transmission. Data transmission has three aspects: transmission, propagation, and reception, because it can be broadly characterized as broadcasting, in which information is transmitted unidirectionally downstream, or telecommunications with bidirectional upstream and downstream channels. XML has been increasingly employed as a means of data interchange since the early 2000s, particularly for machine-operated interactions, such as those involved in web-oriented protocols such as SOAP, describing data in transit rather than data at rest. Then there's data manipulation, because Hilbert and Lopez identify the exponential pace of technological change, a kind of Moore's law. Machines, application-specific capacity to compute information per capita roughly doubled every 14 months between 1986 and 2007. The per capita capacity of the world's general purpose computers doubled every 18 months during these same 2 decades. Now, the global telecommunication capacity per capita doubled every 34 months. The world's storage capacity per capita required roughly 40 months to double every 3 years, and per capita broadcast information has doubled every 12.3 years. Massive amounts of data are stored worldwide every day, but unless it can be analyzed and presented effectively, it essentially resides in what we call data tombs, data archives that are seldom visited. To address that issue, the field of what we call data mining, which is the process of discovering interesting patterns and knowledge from large amounts of data, that emerged in the late 1980s. Now, of course, if you're going to college, well, if you're going to take IT, you need to understand the accreditation process. Now, from an academic perspective, the context, and this is an academic context, the Association of Computing Machinery defines IT as undergraduate programs that prepare students to meet the computer technology needs of business, government, healthcare, schools, and other kinds of organizations. IT specialists assume responsibility for selecting hardware and software products appropriate for an organization by integrating those products with organizational needs and infrastructure and installing, customizing, and maintaining those applications for the organization's computer uses. And what about a commercial employment perspective? Well, companies in the information technology field are often discussed as a group as the tech sector or the tech industry. Many companies now have IT departments for managing their computers, networks, and other technical areas of their businesses. Now, in a business context, the Information Technology Association of America has defined information technology as the study, design, development, application, implementation, support, or management of computer-based information systems. The responsibilities of those working in the field include network administration, software development and installation, and the planning and management of an organization's technology lifestyle by which hardware and software are maintained, upgraded, and replaced. Now, there are also ethical perspectives because the field of information ethics was established by mathematician Norbert Wiener in the 1940s. Now, some of the ethical issues associated with the use of information technology include breaches of copyright by those downloading files without the permission of the copyright holders, employers monitoring their employees' emails or other internet usage, unsolicited emails, hackers accessing online database, websites installing cookies or spyware to monitor a user's online activities. And that concludes this video on information technology. If you like what I presented, please comment, share, and subscribe. And when it comes to computers, if you are in the STEM field, I highly recommend going into computers. Computers are here to stay. Technology is getting better and better. If you're not in the STEM field right now, you're going to lose out because a STEM career is going to be your bread and butter when it comes to good living. And if you go into the computer field, you don't need any licenses. You just need a couple of certifications. You can learn anything in the computer field. You can learn computer graphics. You can learn management information systems, which comes from IT, because management information systems is a subset of information systems, which is a subset of information technology. You can learn computer graphics. But when it comes to computers, I highly recommend computers because when you are knowledgeable about computers, you can have a career that's going to be enjoyable. Furthermore, you can troubleshoot your own computers without having somebody to come and do it for you. But at the end of the day, this is STEM. And on the Mind of STEM channel, I give you a daily dose of science, technology, engineering, and math. I'd like to thank you for viewing this video. Have more videos to come. Just want to say pleasant good night. Continue to go for STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, and support this channel because this channel is giving you education. It's STEM education. If you want a challenge, try STEM. Again, thank you for listening. I want you to have a wonderful and blessed night. Till next time, my name is Leon Jones, and you are listening to the Mind of STEM channel. You can catch me on Facebook and Twitter. If you can't find me on YouTube, I upload all of my videos to my Twitter and Facebook pages. Also, if you want some controversial issues, check my other channel, the 401 Talk Zone radio show out, and also check my Blog Talk radio show out. Now that I've completed all my plugins, I want to once again say thank you for listening to the Mind of STEM channel. Pleasant good night. Once again, my name is Leon Jones. Till next time, God bless you.